I know for a lot of the country, the spring selling season is months away. I know plenty of you are still having snow, ice on the ground, all of that. But one part of the country, it is already started. We have learned from Beth Traversa over the years that the spring selling season in Washington, in King County, in Seattle starts in January. And before we get into what's actually happening on the ground, I want to shout out Phil Greeley. Phil Greeley tagged me on on an X on a Twitter post, and Beth, I'm going to go ahead and read that for you. Okay.
Great. Love to hear it.
He goes, "Hey, one rental at a time. $999,000 single family listing in North Seattle. 11 offers. Escalated to 20% over asking price. Folks, if you can't do math, that's $1.2 million. He closes it with saying, how is that for a heat check on my market?" Beth,
Yeah.
what the hell? 1.2.
I think I might have heard about that listing from someone else too, or maybe it's a similar one. So yeah, it's true. It's true. So we're getting the first samplings, the first taste of new inventory, and buyers are thirsty. So we haven't seen any, the inventory's dwindled down to almost nothing, less than a month in a lot of places. I've seen as low in some areas of the Seattle market as 0.2 months available, or 0.7 months. There's less than 1 month in several segments.
Sorry.
Yeah.
0.2 months. Folks, you're counting in hours.
Yeah. And that's just in real small area, certain
still.
small pockets where I know it's like literally nothing comes up for sale in some of these areas. And so we've had an inventory problem for years now.
Yeah.
And it kind of ebbs and flows a little bit, but in those areas, some of those areas in North Seattle, South Snohomish, if something pops up, especially if what seems to me like the sweet spot is around 900 to 1,112, that's where a lot of typical buyers are looking.
Yeah, well, let's remind folks, King County is let's first off say not a normal market, right? The median home price, rough and tough, is $1 million rounding. Mm-hmm. It's $1 million bucks. So again, $999 list for a lot of places is a luxury home. Not in North Seattle. So let that out there. Second thing you got to also respect about King County and Seattle, a lot of stock money, a lot of stock wealth, a lot of AI money, Amazon and the like, and Microsoft and others. So again, there's lots of people sitting on RSUs, a lot of people sitting with money. A lot of people in Seattle were hoping for rates to come down and, all of these things. So they've entered the I give up, I will buy something phase. Hence, you go 20% over.
There's enough of them, there's plenty that aren't in that spot, but there's enough of them that are, that's all that matters. And that's kind of the disconnect when people talk about, well, median home price doesn't sync with median income. Well, it's the high income people who are buying the median home. So that's what people don't seem to understand when they talk about there has to be a crash because people can't afford blah, blah, blah. As somebody who's in the trenches out there, I know like the people that are buying, I mean, I feel for those people, the first time buyers, especially. I have kids who I want to be able to get a home in this area. I work with people. I understand the struggle. I've been that person. Mm-hmm. I sympathize. But just the reality is it's the high income that is buying. And that's why we're keeping these prices. Because if we have a 1 month of inventory, or let's say 1.5, half month to 2 months, like that means there's very few on the market, and the people that can't, there's enough people out there that can't afford it that are keeping that up there, and they need to buy a house. We're in an area where California is a lot like that too, from what I understand. Bay Area, it's very hard to build, extremely expensive to build. I wish they would make it less expensive and easier to build. They don't seem to be making any meaningful progress on that, and making it more and more difficult with permitting and building standards getting more and more restrictive. And where I am, it's a rural, my house is on 5 acres. We can't barely touch anything on that 5 acres. They make it that way and there's reasons for it. I get it. But the takeaway is that the supply isn't there, and nothing seems to be happening to really change that. And so in the normal seasonality in King County is that we're at the dip right now where it's the lowest inventory of the entire year. So but buyers are ready. They've been ready since Christmas Day, pretty much. Like people that track the Zillow activity, et cetera, that that's one of the busiest days on these real estate websites, is that people get on there. They're looking for houses to buy. They want to buy in 2025. Oh my gosh, nothing is for sale in my area. And then one good one pops up and it gets all of the attention. And that's probably what happened with that one that Phil Greeley mentioned, is that everyone jumps in and boom, we're off to the race, especially if that house is attractively priced. It may have been underpriced. I don't know that specific house.
Yeah,
sometimes that's a strategy people use, but it's not uncommon. What I'm seeing this, granted, we're only 2 weeks in. In the first week, I didn't see any new listings. And then the second week, I saw a small handful. And it seems like there's kind of a mix of things going on. I'm seeing some where it's like this. So I had one yesterday. We had an offer review date and we received 6 offers and it went significantly over list price. But I'm also seeing some out there where it's maybe a little more measured. So some buyers maybe, so say for example, the 5 buyers that bid on that one yesterday that didn't get it, for people that have that or whatever, the 12 offers up in North Seattle, whatever that was, or 20, it's all those buyers it's going to be a bit of a wake up call to them, or where it's like, whoa, now we're in that market, and the psychology starts to shift as people get clobbered in multiple offer situations. I'm not predicting 2021 or first part of 2022. No, it's probably going to be very similar to what we saw in January, February of 2024. Where it's going to have a little bit of a bump and then it's probably going to level out, taper off. I'm not seeing full on insanity. I am seeing a lot of buyers knowing where their limits are and just holding firm, which good for them.
Good for them.
Good for them. So, but for others, their threshold might be higher. And so anyway, it's those folks that will win.
Yeah, well, if I remember correctly, and I could be wrong, forgive me, I have lots of these conversations, but I thought you were actively bringing 3 properties to market in a relatively short window. So you've already told us about one that came out, offer review date, 6 offers, went for significantly over. So congratulations to you and that seller. What about the other 2? Have they hit the market? Maybe you're still preparing.
They've hit the market, still on the market.
Okay.
Getting activity.
But no offer.
Not the bidding war that the other one saw. So it's kind of selective per area and price point and certain wow factors. So
yeah,
if it has something like a view or some special something, those are the ones that are going to get more attention and offers, and others may not. And sometimes we're seeing a little bit of moderation, I guess you'd say, in the interest level, where some are going to have like that one up north where there's gazillion offers. I've heard some about in some of our areas like Redmond, Kirkland, certain ones popping up in key areas that are just going bonkers. And then others that are just a little more measured. So, but it's still early to tell. So we've only have just a couple of data points, and all 3 of mine were all in different areas. Some kind of, there's different dynamics and different markets.
What were the price points, if I might ask, or represent to the median?
Yeah, one 715, one listed at $1,025,000.
So and
one at $1,005,000.
So you had one below, one at, and one above. Which one of those 3 had multiple offers?
The middle one.
Really?
Middle one. Isn't that interesting? Okay. They're all awesome houses, by the way. So they will all, all sell, no doubt, soon. But the one that was in the middle was the one that really took off.
Yeah. So Mike Simonson, Housing Wire, Altos Research, I follow him, talked to him a couple times. He put out the weekly stats. In active inventory actually went down week on week a little bit, but he's calling for a significant increase this week. So I'm curious, are you hearing from other agents who are likely getting ready? Because I think you've told us that Thursday's the biggest day for listings, and then offer review date is Tuesday, I think you said.
Yes.
So are you hearing a lot of inventory is coming or not yet?
Not a lot, but I'm hearing that I think we'll start to see, I'm hearing some, but not, I don't think there's a wave of inventory coming, but I do know that from what I usually see, it usually ends up being the later part of January. We start to see more coming on.
Yeah. Okay.
It takes a while for sellers to get their homes ready to hit the market after the holidays.
Yeah.
So
you've told us this before, and it's a great reminder. buyer demand can flip on with a switch.
Mm-hmm.
Seller supply takes time, right? Not only does it take time to make the decision, but then it takes time to kind of run the play, declutter, depersonalize, touch up paint, whatever they're doing to get the house right. So that's why you're saying it might be late January before.
Yeah, it can take about a month. On average, if somebody's really working hard, it can take about a month. Yeah. If the house is already empty, we can get it on the market pretty quickly. But to do it right, it takes some time and effort. So that's the lag time, and just the mental preparedness that the process that the sellers go through. So I expect we'll start to see, definitely this week, we'll start seeing more inventory for sure next week. And then going into February, it'll be kind of prime time around here. And then it tends to peak around, I start to notice the demand I go by open house weekends where we usually see a drop off. I was just talking to a seller this morning. We're talking about timing, and that people are often surprised that it's earlier than they think. And it's, usually we start to see the drop off usually sometime between the Easter and Mother's Day weekend, where all of a sudden it just seems like a pullback, and then it levels out from there. So we get the run up to that. And so if people are getting ready to sell during the peak timing for our market, getting ready now is perfect, because you can still hit that wave. Now, again, everyone's market's going to be different. So people always like to chime in the comments, and my market, great. I don't know that market. I know this one.
We're talking King County only, folks.
Yeah. Point being, know your market, right? Like we always say.
Yeah. Do the work. Well, it's really fun to see again, Seattle, King County for me. Thank you for being here. It always gives us insight into what possibly will be the spring selling season. Near as I can tell, I think you're right. I think for a lot of places, 25 will be kind of a repeat of 24. For most folks, that means a run up in the spring selling season and then a tail off to the end of the year. If somebody wanted to reach out to you and pick your brain on King County, or better yet, get a referral to somebody in their market, how do they do that?
Yeah, so I can be found at BethTraversogroup.com, or I'm out there on social media too, easy to find. And I am part of the One Rental at a Time school group. So
nice.
You can connect with me on there as well.
There you go. Beth, you're amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.